Welcome, welcome. Another episode, always in motion. Thank you for watching. Thanks for everybody out there listening. Today we got a very special guest. Got A Butter in the building. Besides all the other accolades, it's the author of A Whole Lot of Game. It's definitely a book about, perseverance, going through everything you got to go through to get it done, and being honest about it. And that's one of the most qualities I respect about this man is he's honest about everything about, his whole journey. And, the journey never ends. So without that, Adrian right here.
What's goody, what's goody? It's your boy, Adrian Walton, a.k.a. A Butter. I got a book out, Whole Lot of Game, From Rucker to Revenue. You could get that on Amazon at awholelotofgame.com. But again, my book is basically about what it means to go pro. You know what I mean? The word pro is professional. And again, I didn't make it to the NBA, but today I'm an author. So again, I want to show the next generation, there's many ways to go pro. You know what I mean? You got to, keep reinventing yourself. And that's what the book shows. That's what the book really speaks about. The book speaks about how I had a basketball mentality, how I got prepared for the game, how it helped me, build with my teammates and win games, win championships. I am a 5-time Rucker EBC champion. So, with that mindset, I translated that into the same strategy that I use in the business world. How do I build relationships? How do I build a team? How do I get prepared for, to do my podcast, Streets First? How do I do, my business, et cetera, et cetera? So it's just basically about having, a mindset, whether it's on the court or off the court, and that basically translate into,
a whole bunch of games. Yeah. It's the perfect title for it. If everyone out there know the EBC, if anyone doesn't know, all the younger listeners, when I tell you it was like, that shit, even NBA players said that was like one of the hardest places to play at that time because you had everyone out there on the court right there, and it's the excitement. I remember, I was just telling them off camera, I remember a lot of times, when Joe was running the park early 2000s, you couldn't even, if you didn't get there early, couldn't get on the block. You had to, park. You know what I mean? And just to even walk into the park was another thing. Just
shout out to Fat Joe.
Yeah, Joe was running that park. He had that on lock.
We didn't even have to play the third time to win that championship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Again, shout out to Fat Joe. Fat Joe, shout out to Mousy as well, but Fat Joe was like the Mark Cuban for the team. You know what I'm saying? Being that we're talking about the Entertainers Basketball Classic, that's what EBC stand for. It was held at Rucker Park in Harlem. Rest in peace, Greg Marius. You know what I mean? Greg Marius was like, the creator and starter to bring the tournament up there at that park and make it so iconic. If you know anything about Madison Square Garden or Yankee Stadium, you also know about Rucker Park. So shout out to Greg Marius for making that park so iconic. But back to Fat Joe, guys like Fat Joe just made it, on a whole nother level. I remember Fat Joe getting, and check the lineup, Al Harrington, Jermaine O'Neal, Katino Mobley, Steven Jackson, Stephon Marbury, Al Harrington, if I said his name. But again, it's like Joe used to make sure that he bring, what's my man name from Phoenix, Sean Marion. Like when I tell you Joe used to bring the NBA players out, that was one thing that he made sure that he did. He gave them that experience that a lot of us, like a person like myself or Kareem Reed, best kept secret. He made sure that people like us got a chance to experience what it's like playing with NBA players.
Yeah, and I think for the interviews I've seen with different NBA players too, it was like no one ever said it was easy to play there because the energy from the time you got on that block and when there was a game going on, it was different. Like you just felt it. It was something like it was like an excitement, but it was also like, oh shit, you gotta come correct because shit.
We were real ball players. You had Jamal Tinsley, you had Jason Terry, you had like when I say all of these NBA names, I'm talking about Steve Francis. These guys, Rafe Alston is the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Skip to Malou. But you had these guys in their prime, just coming out of college or a few years into the NBA. So when they getting on the court against 17, 18, 19, 23-year-olds.
Hungry.
Everybody is, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being real about the competition that was there, you know what I'm saying, at that time.
And they coming into the hood for it. So it's like, yo, come on, man.
It ain't like you don't, the culture, that was another thing, shout out to the culture, the streetball culture. Again, the culture, they force you to play. Rest in peace to Ali Mo, but it was like you had a lot of guys that, you know what I'm saying, put on a show just because you would have people in the crowd screaming, you trash, or you ain't doing nothing, or get out of here, we ain't come to see you. Get what I'm saying? It's either that it's either it's gonna make you or break you. You know what I'm saying?
And I heard a lot of NBA teams hated when they played. Their players couldn't even tell them they was going to play up there because they was like, they got all this money with these people, but it's like, yo, you gotta come and show out.
They put their bag up. Like when I tell you it was money, like, I remember playing in a game where Murder Inc., you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Irv Gotti. But Chris Gotti, that's my guy. Him and Fat Joe, they bet that money against each other. It was Terror Squad versus Murder Inc. Def Jam had a team.
Everyone had one.
Rough Riders
had one. Bad Boy had one.
Bad Boy had a team. Jay-Z's team. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, wow, Mary J. Blige had a team. Like, Ed Lover, all of these different celebs, they all had a team. So again, to see all of these people in one place in the hood, you know what I'm saying? Like Greg Marius did something special there. You know what I'm saying?
It was definitely something that I feel like to this day is stamped the name forever. You know what I mean?
It brought a lot of other stars out too. Right after that, you had Kevin Durant coming to break the record. You know what I'm saying? Like you had guys like
Lamar Odom. I remember seeing him tear that shit
with the sham guard move. Like that's when that game was when it rained. So basically back then when it rained, you know what I mean, you had to go to Gaucho's gym. So again, we always had a rain site, and it was like the things that Lamar Odom was doing back then, it was like, whoa.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
And I just seen the interview he did when he was talking about he was, getting high in the off season. And I was like, damn, like, yo, this is...
It's funny how when you watch people and their beginnings and their upbringings, and then to see, when you make it into some money and being around different exposure of lifestyle, what it could do. You know what I'm saying? So again...
Especially at that age, too, though. A lot of times, like, I feel like something that they don't talk about a lot of times, when you get that money at such a young age and all you know has been playing basketball... And then you kind of coming from something that's not, used. It's like, yo.
But if we gonna be honest, man, I mean, not many of us get a chance to,
of course,
date and live and be with a Kardashian.
Yeah, hell yeah, he had mad fun. And he had a show.
That's a different type of bag to be around all the time. I'm just saying for him not to be, around exposed to a lot of different things that he might dibble and dabble.
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
so,
without
you know what I mean? It's like, you live and you learn.
Yeah, live and you learn.
I'm glad to see where he's at now.
Yeah, definitely.
What I'm saying?
And I applaud him for being honest about it. That's the one thing. Honesty is the most, because nobody's perfect. Everyone got demons. Everyone got shit going on, and no one's here to judge. It's just here to say, yo, the talent that man had, bro, it was incredible for his height and size to be able to move like that.
And that's kind of like what the book is about. Again, you know what I'm saying? We need more of that. You know what I mean? We need more of the people that been through some things and made some mistakes, but
are still here too.
Learned how to grow from it. You know what I'm saying? Not hide from it, but again, grow from it. Again, that helps the next generation, which the reason why a lot of them crash out is because they believe what they're doing is the worst. They feel what they're going through is the worst. And they haven't heard a lot of stories that's like, yo, shorty, you think that's something.
Yeah, wait till you hear this.
You ready to kill yourself? Like suicide right now for them is something that we couldn't fathom. You get what I'm trying to say? So again, they need to be able to hear more stories that they could learn from and be like, wow, man, my life and the things I'm going through ain't that bad, bro. You know,
what? A lot of things we talk about in the show too is like growing up in the 90s and 2000s opposed to these kids now. It's like now with social media. Because back in the day, some shit happened, whatever, you going through it. Now it's just, everything's so right there.
It spread faster.
People are like, oh shit, this happened. So I get the pressure that these kids have on them now. But also I feel like yo, we went through some shit back in the day. It wasn't no cameras there, but it's like, you know what I mean?
But again, it helps you with being authentic. You know what I mean? If it's a message that I could send to the next generation right now, it would be, you know, stay as authentic as you can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, you know, there's not a lot of authenticity with the young generation. They're following a lot. But again, if they stay true to who they are, that's where a lot of other people starts to follow them. And even if it's learning from your mistake, you know what I'm saying? So again,
and accountability is huge.
They got to go through stuff as well, you know what I'm saying? But again, they also are exposed to more knowledge and information than we were.
Yeah.
We had to remember stuff when we came home from school.
Yeah,
you know, they could push a button and get the answer. So again, we also got to put in perspective, it's so much information right now in their face that they don't really know what to choose from. It's constantly, you know what I mean, an answer.
That's why I feel like the attention spans is a lot smaller now, a lot shorter now, because it's like there's so much stuff to process that it's like I see why these kids' attention spans is a lot shorter. Like, so I've been making these films, right? A lot of my films I've been making intentionally shorter.
That's what's up.
Because that's what's I think that's where it's going, you know?
Again, if you could hold them for a certain amount of time to where you get them to understand the whole focus, again, their focus is not like ours. It took a lot, you know what I mean, to get us focused. Their focus, you might have to say within 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
And that's
you
it.
know what I mean? Yeah. With us, I ain't gonna lie to you, we might have needed about 40 minutes until we really understood what the pastor was saying in church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These kids go, you know what I mean? They get it, they catch on to that in 10 minutes, man. I know where he going with this. I get it.
They put it together.
Word.
So for the basketball stuff and the EBC and the Rucker, right? So we've seen now this last, I'd say 10 years, Dykeman has kind of got the crown, right?
Shout out to Dykeman.
Yeah,
shout Stevens.
They doing their thing up there. Yeah. They be doing their thing up there, and y'all love going to the games. But what do you think sparked it to where, like, 'cause I remember the first time I started going to the actual games over there was probably like maybe 2016 or something like that. So I was like, oh, all right, they really, the court was kind of in the cut over there, you know what I mean?
Had the gates up a certain way. Yeah, and now then it's different.
It was just live. So what do you think made that Dykeman courts come so high?
Culture shift.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say culture shift, you know what I mean? You got to go with
where it's live at.
The younger generation. I'm saying that a lot was going on and being spoken about in street ball with middle-aged men. And I think there was a culture shift where a lot of people started investing and doing a little bit more into high school and the younger generation. So I say that to say, you know, it was a lot given from Nike to street ball players at 20, 21, 22, 23. They were blessing us with boxes and clothes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Why? A lot of the attention was on us, the N1 players, et cetera, that era. So again, there was a shift where Nike and Jordan Brand, they all started investing into high school and the younger generation. And if I'm keeping it real, street ball, I think, announces shift and changes the game.
Okay.
There was a shift when announcers where, you know, shout out to my man Cha-Ching, you know, he's the voice, you know what I mean, for the younger generation. He invested and spoke and knew a lot more without no paper, you know what I mean, where kids went to high school at, what they were doing in college, how they were playing. So again, the younger generation started to feel that. They started to like that. And, you know what I mean, the shift kind of like went from Rucker to Dykeman. They follow where the announcers and where people were speaking. And then all of a sudden that motion, meaning, you know, kids coming to support each other and other schools coming to support each other. You know, in Dykeman, they call it prom season for the high school kids. You know what I'm saying?
They definitely start them at a young age.
Outside, you know what I mean? So shout out to them for, like, you know, just investing and shifting, you know what I mean, to where it was like, we see that all of the stars used to go to, you know what I mean, Rucker, but, you know, now everybody goes to Dykeman. But again, if we being honest, it's enough for everybody in the city.
No, they definitely is.
Gersh and Brooklyn is just like Dykeman.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? So you got Coney Island, Isaiah Whitehead, and Lance Stevenson got a tournament together.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They got another tournament called Zone 6.
I know Chris Gotti got that stuff he's doing.
Chris Gotti got the pro-am.
Yeah.
You get CPL. You get what I'm trying to say? So, again, don't even forget where I'm from. You know, you got Queen of Harlem. She just gave out $100,000. The year before that, $50,000.
Oh, did
the
she
year
really?
before that, $30,000. She started off her first year, 30 bands. 15 for the coach, 15 for the players.
Oh, all right.
Second year, 50,000, 25, 25. This last summer that just passed, 100 bands. You know what it is for this summer?
What's it?
260.
Oh, damn.
Hey, bro,
shout out to the Queen of Harlem, man.
Financial gain. I'm just saying, like, they're shifting in street ball to where you ain't got to go overseas. You can stay home and, you know what I mean, take care of your family. So, again, I'm loving to see where street ball is going from, you know what I mean, the Rucker to seeing what Tri-State and Hoops in the Sun. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's so many. West Fourth. You got so many tournaments to where it's enough people out here to support and be there for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Jordan sponsors most of them, right? I think he's
Nike and Jordan brand.
Right?
But again, you know, that's where a lot of also being at me and you talking, like I said, my authenticity and my realness is always what I'm going to run with. That's what also shifted the culture. You know, Greg always had Reebok sponsoring everything.
I remember that,
Rucker. So once those brands start to get in, you know, a lot of things changes. You can't drink in the park anymore. You can't smoke in the park. You know,
that's what my thing was.
Once those things start to happen, the culture is not coming to the games like that no more. People are not comfortable watching the games like they used to, and it's summertime.
Yeah, like talking about. Yeah,
there's a respect level to where those things are not taken away, but it's kept under control and respectful at Dykeman.
Yes, 100%.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Like the vendor who's always selling nutcrackers is the same guy.
Yeah, you can't just come in there with your bottles.
Yeah,
Again, we've created, you know, I have a section up there called the Champagne Room. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, we being responsible about it because, again, we don't want to push the message that, you know, we want the kids to be out here, you know, drinking at the games, but we do understand the culture of New York City and street ball that people do enjoy themselves if that's what they're old enough to do.
And do it responsibly.
And doing it responsibly, respectfully, to where, again, you're never hearing about all of these fights and all of these bad things happening because of the environment. That's like those things are not making those other things affect what's going on. So again, I love what, if I can, just shouting out all of New York City tournaments and what they're doing. You know what I mean? They're bringing
all positive.
They're bringing that culture back, man.
They really are. My thing about streetball was the favorite thing was people got to really express themselves the way they wanted and the talent they wanted. And especially at that time, people don't, on my younger listeners, the early 2000s, you know, Allen Iverson was the first person to bring that street culture to a place when you went from that Michael Jordan era to the, you know, the streets was in there with,
I wore
AI.
number 3 because of AI.
Yeah, AI,
I'm just
man.
being honest.
And AI small, man. You know what I mean? I'm 5'8", and he not that much taller than me. And I was like, first time I saw him, I said, damn, y'all made it to the final. To me, they won that year. Because I'm like, who did they go to the finals with that? Yeah, they had Mutombo, I think. And
Derek Coleman, if I'm not mistaken. What was that guy? Eric Snow?
Eric Snow. But it wasn't like, you know.
I get what you're saying, McKee. They had a lot of
and then compared to that LA team, yo.
Wasn't enough macaroni. Yeah. I mean, enough cheese in that macaroni.
But so like the thing about Rucker I thought was dope was like, yo, you just saw everyone who looked like you looked. Like, oh, but then they showing out, you know, crazy.
Jamal Crawford,
you know he shut it down.
Nate Robinson, Brandon Roy, you know what I mean? I saw Zach Randolph, you know what I mean? I got to keep shouting all of these names out because all of these guys came through. And Eddie Curry, it wasn't like Smush Parker.
Curry, wow.
These guys didn't just come and just play like a game. It was a lot of guys that came and was playing the whole season, the whole season. So respect to a lot of them.
I think Steve Francis played the whole season, right?
Francis, Jamal Tinsley played the whole season. You know what I'm saying? Jamal Crawford was playing. Stephon Marbury played the whole season for maybe 3-4 years straight.
Yo, that's when Hove had that song that
Run up on me at the light.
Yo, I know, yo, he was
It
playing.
was a lot going on in the city,
That
man.
was a lot, and
that
year when they had, people don't know, there was that championship game was Hove's team versus Terror Squad, and they had that blackout, and that if you don't remember this, I think God put that blackout there because that shit was ready to erupt. That way it was hot as hell. And it was just like, that shit was so packed that like.
I always tell people they ran with that. You got to Google the dates, you know what I mean? Like, even though it was a blackout, the game wasn't supposed to happen on that day. The championship never really happened because OG Juan and Fat Joe.
They had discrepancy about the
coin toss ahead of time. So not to even go back into that, but again, you know what I mean? I'm a person, like I always say, that I was robbed of a championship game that I really, really wanted to play in because Rucker EBC was like my NBA. So, you know, those guys at that time with who they were and how they were going at each other, you know what I mean? They cost, you know what I mean, some guys a game that, you know what I mean, we really wanted all over a coin toss. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get it, but again, when you play in Rucker, you understand how valuable which bench you choose matters because the court is like a hill. So again, you want the bench on 8th Avenue so that if you going towards the handball court first half, the second half you going downhill. You see what I'm trying to say? So the rules was if you won the championship the year before, you automatically, if you make it back to the championship, you automatically get that bench.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mousy earlier in the daytime during that day, he wound up joking and playing around with OG Juan and did a coin toss and lost.
Oh, is that what it was?
So again, later on that night now when we get to the game, Fat Joe comes in the court and he sees OG Juan and them sitting over there. He's, you know, Joe, like, nigga, I don't care what happened. This is my team. Y'all got to get up. And again, OG Juan and them, this is back then, but that energy that Joe had and all of us, the squad and everybody there, and them two just trying to sit on the bench and hold that bench until they get off the bus. He went back on that bus and told Jay and them, yo, I don't think this game is about basketball. And they never got off the bus. That's why they lost. Like, you have to sign in 5 players in the book.
Okay.
My whole Terror Squad team signed in. Only 2 players from them signed in.
Oh, shit.
So, again, rest in peace, Big Strick, John Strickland, you know what I mean? Franchise, Baby Panda, that was his name. But him and Reggie Freeman, who's still alive, Reggie Freeman played for Texas. Reggie, they called him High Five. High Five signed in. But again, those were 2 guys that was playing with Joe before. They were cool with us, but they traded and went and played with Jay. So they felt comfortable enough to be off the bus and come out onto the court and be around the squad. The rest of them ain't get off the bus.
Okay.
So guys got to give you the real story.
I didn't know that.
What I mean?
That's
I let them run with the blackout. But again, if they really started to interview people that's still alive and was around on Jay's team and on our team, guys going to tell them the truth. It wasn't on the blackout. They used that as an excuse.
Oh, wow.
Bro.
Okay.
Word. Shout out to Mousy, though. Shout out to Rock Nation.
What's up, man? Yeah, definitely. Let's get it together. I would love to see a good, just because of Rucker and Dykeman are right there. They ain't that far. I thought if they marketed it correctly and they had like the best of, you know, each squad put together, that would be great for the city, great for the charity.
What do you call it? I think you would call it what, Battle of the Tournaments?
Yeah, like
you want to see something like
something
that?
Like that, like some Battle of the Tournaments. You know, it could be like a Subway series for Uptown. You know, I think it would be something great.
That's dope.
That's what me and Mouse was talking about.
That's dope.
To put it
do
together.
A little Subway series, you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Even the merch would be crazy.
They do something like that when it's called, right now, it's called the Clash Cup.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's what...
I think it's just not advertised.
I just feel like Chris Gotti, you know, being around, rest in peace, Greg Marius back then, and seeing the vision, and then trying to keep the Streetball stuff alive because he was a part of that.
Okay.
He's also trying to remix it in his own way, get the network behind you, get the sponsors behind you.
Yeah, and he been putting up his own money for that, too.
Do these little Clash Cup things, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, if we could get some more people to come together and, invest into this stuff, you know what I mean? Again, we could market it the right way and, who knows where it could go. Because, again, other cities want to come and be a part of this. If Queen of Harlem just did a $100,000 tournament, DC was in the championship. I just want you to know.
Damn, I didn't know that.
DC was whipping on New York teams.
Oh, wow.
And made it to the championship.
Damn, DC, man. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to ADC Viola, my man Circus. You know what I'm saying? Circus, part of Viola. He used to play ball and won. You know what I'm saying? Wichita State, if I'm not. But again, my man Circus, he's the coach for ADC.
Okay.
And his team from Queens, you get what I'm saying? They won. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Brooklyn, they all holding it down. Woo. He got a mixture, but again, shout out to them because 100,000 now coming back as the reigning champion for 260.
More than doubled up. You know what I'm saying? You almost.
Yo, man,
you know what I mean?
That's 130 for you as a coach. Hey, yo, just as a coach, I don't even know what the players, we don't even go say what the players get. 7,000 each, 8,000. But again, to play in a tournament, to win that kind of money, this is what I'm saying, you got to come correct. Because if not, I see them doing that in the what do you call that $1 million tournament.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we doing this right here in Harlem.
Yeah,
this is why I'm shouting them out, because that's big. We doing that right here.
No, it's right here.
You know what I mean?
It's right here. It's it's everyone's so familiar with it, and it's just great keeping it alive and great seeing it where it is. I would love to see Joe involved again, especially because now everyone's a little older. Everyone's older. Everyone's a little bit more like, all right, and the energy, but they still them. You know
like
what I mean?
David Stern, rest in peace to David Stern.
Word
like
up.
Adam Silver. I mean,
He is.
I think he could be like which they call him the Streetball commissioner, but it's just good to see their presence. You know what I mean?
And now that they cool, he on Rock Nation and everything is.
So you never know what they might.
Imagine what they could do now. Like imagine how big, and now that they have the platforms to do it, imagine how big it could be. Now the whole world gonna see it.
We keep motivating them. That's all. We keep motivating because again,
Joe, you hear us, man?
They watching this. They be seeing this stuff.
Without a doubt.
Shout out to Joe and Jada. Shout out to them.
Definitely, man. Besides that, the NBA in general. What's your thoughts on the NBA? Shout out to the Knicks, of course. And,
I mean, if that's first and foremost. Shout out to New York Knicks. You know what I mean? But if anything, I would say, man. If I'm really talking about the NBA right now, I got to give much props to the Wembanyama guy. It's like, we seen Kevin Durant, we seen the Dirks, we seen tall people really show you, with handle and jump shots, But for this kid to have like the whole package with a little bit of guard bedazzle with him.
He got a little flavor in the way he moved.
I just, that's a real freak of nature to me. You know what I mean? Like when we saw Giannis, we was like, wow. But now you looking at him and seeing that, Giannis missing that jump shot. So now you getting him. He's shooting from the logo at times, throwing it behind his back on guys and double pumping, going through the lane, getting grabbed. Again, to see that at a young age. And he coming
through to lane 2 is like a lock. I'm so happy that I'm so tired of seeing just jump shots all game.
Exactly.
I want to see that aggressiveness back in there.
And they don't even really, to me, when I'm watching the game, it is missing a little bit of the mid-range. I think a lot is always step back 3. I don't really see step back mid-range, but everything is like now go to the basket or shoot a 3. So again, I'm critiquing the game, but I'm not mad at it because again, it's entertaining to a level of who you like.
Yeah, it's true.
And if I'm a person to say who I like, that Shy Kid gets busy from OKC. Anthony Edwards is a dog.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards.
You know what I mean? Like I like people like that. I come from that era.
Yeah.
I need to talk a little trash.
And they let it be known, like, yo,
you know what I'm saying? It makes the game more fun. A little competitive.
Ain't everything got to be so friendly.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we get it. Everyone's professional. But yo, we missed that, you know, that early 2000s.
People do the slick stuff to be friendly in basketball and competitive.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's only really to get their edge. So this is why LeBron sometimes got a lot of hate, because it was him doing that. They didn't think that he really wanted that smoke. He needed help with that smoke.
Yeah.
But again, you know, to win, sometimes you may need an army.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody needs. No one person can.
You know what I mean?
I think if AI proves everything, you can't do everything alone.
I just think that Mike didn't have to. If we, you know how everybody always comparing Mike and LeBron. I'm saying that Mike didn't have to get an army because that was Phil's job to do for him. I feel like LeBron had more of a
say,
generation of speaking out and speaking up for. You get what I'm saying? Like Jordan's era didn't have to do that because they had a coach that was now, you know, the players do more than the coach. So again, LeBron kind of like spoke for what he needed around him. You know what I mean? And guess what? When he did, look what happened.
Look what happened.
You get what I'm saying? You can't knock how people go about winning, because everybody don't go about winning the same way.
No, definitely.
Know what I'm saying?
And I put it like this. You never forget Phil Jackson's name, right? You never forget, like, Pat Riley's name. You never forget, like, you know, Chuck Daly, these people. But nowadays, even now, I was forgetting who
you don't even know who they name. You don't know
who my bro with the ball he had on.
From where?
From
Which coach?
from the Lakers. Oh no, from Cleveland, I think.
From Cleveland?
Yeah.
Who's the coach there now?
No, when LeBron was with them.
Mike Brown?
Mike Brown,
Is it Mike Brown? Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it was
yeah.
Mike Brown. Yeah.
I think it's something.
And the short kid that was coaching them too, Ty Lue.
Oh,
again,
hell yeah.
A lot of these guys.
Ty Lue, sorry, man.
To me, Woodson, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of their coaches. He's the Knicks coach. But again, these guys that we naming, they're player coaches. They're cool more with the player than having to really do that.
Getting their ass on it, I feel like a lot of times. Some of these coaches back in that faith, they're really gonna be like, yo,
that shifted. Lenny Wilkins wasn't trying to hear that. You know what I mean? Those coaches back then, they had a style and understanding of the game that knew how to bring wins. So again, today is like the players is trying to explain to the coaches, you need more of a culture to win. You see what I'm saying? Like winning today, as you can see, those guys in OKC, they all get along together.
Yeah.
That's how you win today. It's not really the X's and O's, because again, you got guys that's really nice on these teams, but they don't have no camaraderie. They don't have no chemistry. So after a while, you know, they're going to clash. You know.
Do you feel like that comes also something that came from the street ball? Because, you know, I feel like in street ball, you had to have, you know what I'm saying, some type of camaraderie. Otherwise, it was like, it might go down right here. Like, you know, fuck this. I ain't, you know, that helps. But you think it was that, I feel like that came from the street ball shit, the way the players would vibe out a lot more. Like, yo, that's my man. I'm going to go to war with him a little bit. We going the same. You know,
everybody got a different way of, I think, how they respect the game, if that's what you call it. So again, some people, you know what I mean. They do I need a partner. And then you got some other people that say, hey man, you know, I just need people to ride with me.
Okay.
So I think today when I'm looking at, you know, the younger generation and what the NBA is modeled after, it's entertainment. It's not even under sports if you Google this. It's under entertainment. So again, they don't really have to have no chemistry. They just really, you know, have to have skill.
Yeah.
Character, repetition of skill. So I think the ones that you're going to always see winning is the ones that's gelling. And if you look, the Fox kid and them guys in San Antonio, I wouldn't think that they, without Popovich, would still be winning like this. But again, that's how I know chemistry matters. Look, when you look at them, they hugging each other, they having fun, bro. The teams that's doing that, those are the teams that's winning, bro. If you're not having fun with your teammate, you pointing the finger, you going on the gram and you sending subs and all. I'm just saying. I
feel like Popovich was like, he was like the Belichick of the league. You know what I mean? He was very like, didn't matter who you was, as long as you played in the system. More than anyone, you was going to be good.
But he was also good at being a leader and how he was able to do that. Like, you got to be real good to be able to adjust to all the different
personalities
and characters. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's another thing that I respected about him from the time where he came in at to where he left. Yeah. You know, who would have ever thought that he would have longevity to be able to adjust towards the end with this new generation. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, he had a certain love and compassion that players just genuinely, and I say shout out to my man Danny Green. He's a 3-time NBA champion on 3 different NBA teams. And I'm just saying Danny Green speaks very highly about Coach Popovich and saying just as a person, the characteristics that he had, it brought like the greatness out of him. You know what I mean? At a young age. And he was like, yo, it was a lot of things that he didn't understand, but getting with Pop, you know, coming from North Carolina, he took it to another level that, you know, what they taught him in North Carolina, he took it to another level, teaching him that. And look, he's able to be a champion, a 3-time NBA champion on 3 different teams, man. Shout out to my guy Danny Green, man.
Yeah, that's man, you get on that level. I just like to see the fact that the Knicks have been doing good. I ain't gonna lie. Like so I didn't, my mom took me to the Garden one time in it was like 90 that year when Jordan wasn't there. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I was like 10 years old. Went to the so we had that chance, you know what I'm saying? We had that chance, and I remember that's the first time I seen like NBA players, you know what I'm saying? And I remember seeing Patrick Ewing. Our mom was like, go over there, get an autograph. Yo, I was like, dang, you know, you like a kid, you don't think people are that tall.
Looking up at him.
And I just had to, he just walked past me. But what's my man, Mason.
Anthony Mason. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, man. Yeah. His son is my guy. Shout out to Anthony Mason Jr. Word.
That's what's up, man. He was cool, man. He was cool. People was but yeah, it's just seeing him now. Like, I remember going to one of the games, not going to the game. I couldn't get no tickets, but I just being outside watching the game and in the street last year. I was like, yo, this was it was a good feeling. It was good.
I'm a, how do I say it? I'm a person that grew up in Harlem, so to be able to see where the Knicks is at today is like, it's just a beautiful feeling for the city. Yeah, you know what I mean. Again, we've won before, but I just think that the pieces that we have now, you know what I mean, it makes the city feel
together.
You get what I'm saying? It's like we know we want more, or we could use more, or it could be this or it could be that. But again, I'm just saying if we're speaking on what we have, you know what I mean, it makes the city feel real good and coming together, you know what I mean?
I like how they playing. They playing like they just, you know, they on a mission. They getting along. You said it's good, you know, chemistry there. And they just letting it be known. They here, they going for it. So
shout out to my guy Joakim Noah, man. My man Joakim Noah used to play for the Knicks. Shout out to my guy Tim Thomas. He used to play for the Knicks. Yeah, shout out to Stephon Marbury. He used to play for the Knicks.
Is he playing in he went to China then to play, right? Marbury.
Marbury? Yeah. He got statues and all that.
I heard he like Jordan out there, man.
I mean, if you can see where we're at today in the world, it's like I would salute people like Rodman, because it's a little bit bigger than what a lot of us know. But again, I would salute people like, you know, Steph, because for them as regular American citizens becoming American
and get the love out there,
superstars to go to another country and to get their presidents or their, you know, dictators, whatever you want to call them, to show them this kind of love versus knowing that they probably don't even like the president where they're from. But I'm just saying, for those guys to single-handedly build in those places and connect with those people is like, shout out to all of those guys for being able to do that. You know what I mean? Because I know that ain't easy.
No, definitely not. But it also shows how dope something like, I always looked at hip-hop, basketball. You know, I used to be boxing when I was younger, like the amateurs. So it's like anything through sports or something through love or creativity, it don't matter what you are. It's because you coming together for something that's around love, it's going to work.
And they said we're stronger together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's where, you know, you got to be careful who you following, because, you know, if this the country they say we live in and what, united we stand, divided we fall. So again, if we're choosing to continue to be divided, you know what I mean, we're going to continue to fall.
Yeah.
And then until we start choosing to unite, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
then we'll start standing better.
No, 100%. I just said it in the last show. Look, it take a lot to control somebody with fear. But out of love, you going to have someone do something out of love that you don't even know. It's because they just doing it genuinely. Like, yo, I want to see my people good. You know what I mean? I want to see you win. If you have, you know what I mean? If I don't really know you, if I see, he doing this thing, he trying something, he going for it, yo, salute you, brother. You know, that shit, a lot of people don't get it. Like, when you going for something, you putting your all into it, yo, there's one way to go. You know what I mean?
How you said everybody got what they call it, their worries. You know what I mean? But again, you gotta let love be a little bit more in your life than your worries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't worry about the worries because they're gonna be there regardless.
And it actually shapes you. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying that. You know, when you worry a lot, you know what I mean, you're not open to, you know, really doing for others or thinking about others.
You're too stiff.
You know what I mean? So again,
I always look at like you gotta just whatever you can control it. But everything else, yo, just you tried your best. Let it go. Put that in God's hands, cause you know what I'm saying. If it's gonna work, it's gonna work, man.
We call it the serenity prayer. Yeah. Accept what you can accept and change what you can't change. You know
that's
what I'm
it,
saying?
man. But that's, you know, but yo, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. That was a lot of game on this, man. Drop a lot of honesty.
Free game.
Definitely. Shout out to everyone we talked to. Make sure you pick up his book on Amazon. It's definitely the perfect name for a whole lot of game, from Rucker to Revenue. And continued success, my brother.
Polo, man. Appreciate you, man.
Sir.
Great things that you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, you know what I mean? I'm happy to see people like you continuing to do what you do, because again, we need more of that. And I'm saying that to say we need more of people to continue to show people that there is a way. And when I say there is a way, you can't stop. If you don't stop and you keep going, you know what I mean, you don't realize that you are showing people that there is a way by not stopping. So salute you for not stopping, man.
Appreciate you, bro. That's why it's always in motion. Double the L for all the lessons we learned along the way. And we got us always, baby. Tune in next week. Catch you.